Hello everyone and welcome to The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past Randomizer Overworld Glitches Tournament. We are going to see these runners perform overworld glitches, mini clips, mini jumps and hops around the overworld to find the items they need to beat the game. It looks like Eriror and prdwong both made a gambit into escape right away to see what the uncle and the secret passage have. We're going to see some interesting routing. There will be quite the divergence any time now, I would say. They're both in sync at the moment. But the logic of this mode requires overworld glitches, and we may see some Super Bunny adventures. We may see some difficulty searching for the Moon Pearl. There's a lot that could happen that may be different than what we're used to seeing in a no glitches randomizer race. Both racers are searching the Lost Woods, finding only rupees so far. Let's see if anyone checks the Lumberjack cave. prdwong is farming bombs next to the fortune teller's hut here. These bonk rocks are available right away, so it's a good place to stock up if you need to check Kakariko right away, bomb these walls. prdwong finds the flute and the Moon Pearl early in Blind's hut. The flute in this logic is actually a non-required item. It's nice to have for sure, but its progression in no glitches is to get into Misery Mire. But in this mode, you're allowed to clip over walls. There are several different ways into Misery Mire. The Kakariko well has nothing of value today. Both racers already have red mail from the bottle vendor. Both racers have lamp as well. It's really nice to find a fire source early. One reason is that you have access to both Desert Palace and Tower of Hera from the start. So if you can find a weapon to beat Lanmola's or Moldorm, and you have a fire source, you could complete these dungeons. prdwong spots the hook shot in the maze race. Now he's trying sort of a newly discovered or newly rediscovered way of grabbing the item, and he grabs it and jumps down, which takes a great number of inputs to get exactly right. Eri might not have learned this particular clip, so he's just going to go through the maze race. prdwong is routing this directly into Desert Palace, showing us the first sort of out-of-bounds like dungeon dive. He also finds the first sword on the Desert Palace torch. Eri is using the flute right away to rescue the old man from his cave. He has the lamp too, which makes it especially easy. A lot of the time in Overworld Glitched, racers will rescue the old man without having the lamp, because it's such a quick way to get a save point. We'll see that Mountain Cave as a very important save warp. prdwong also finds a bottle in Desert Palace. Now, Desert is clear of items. prdwong is leaving Desert Palace, and Eri is making his way into Tower of Hera. I don't blame prdwong leaving Lenmola's. Oh, he finds a bow. The weapon of choice for beating Lenmola's and no major glitches. But I think he will return to the boss once he gets a bit more powered up, and he can route it in at another point. prdwong is very quickly clipping out of Desert into Cave 45, a cave you normally need Dark World access and the mirror to access. It is not uncommon to see an early Desert Palace dive, but there's so much that's open from the start of the game that we might not see Eri return to or go to Desert Palace right away. However, Eri finds the power gloves in Paradox Cave. That it will be nice to open Checkerboard Cave. The gloves don't block a whole lot in this mode because of all the clipping and jumping around you can do. But if Cold Stare is a required boss, you will need to lift a rock to reach that boss. You might need to get into Hookshot Cave logically with the gloves, but it is possible to get into places like Hookshot Cave even without entering from the front entrance. So we'll see what items like the power gloves block as the seed goes on. Question in chat, do you have to glitch to finish the seed? Yes. I've never seen a glitched randomizer seed where glitches are not required. And what happens is, so much of the light world is open right from the start that items will just land anywhere. And you'll have to jump into Death Mountain right away, or jump into Desert Palace to find what you need. With the Moon Pearl in hand, Eri can immediately search the Dark World. Right now he is attempting a clip, I believe it's called the Turtle Rock Climb. We're going to see him move. He's holding the B button, the sword out. He's dash buffering, tapping A and right at the same frame multiple times over. And then he performs a series of forward to back inputs that take him east over Dark Death Mountain. And we just saw him get a bit displaced on the map. It's something I'm not sure if I've seen that before, but it looks like what happened is he may have hopped in such a way that he hopped sort of off of the screen, even though it looked like Link was still on the screen. So Ares trying the clips again to get to the east side of Dark Death Mountain. He seems fine now. He's already putting his gloves to use, checking out Hookshot Cave. And of course his hookshot as well. Might as well put that to use while you're in Hookshot Cave too. Meanwhile, prdwong is diving Eastern Palace. He's got the bow. I'm not sure he's found anything valuable yet, but it looks like it may be his first crystal. Eri goes into Super Bunny Cave and gets a magic refill. It's pretty nice to find that cave early and have your magic refilled. We get a map check and we see that Turtle Rock is green pendant, Thieves Town is red pendant. And Swamp is blue pendant. I looked away, but I see Eri is now at the catfish. So what he must have done is an auto walk south from the Turtle Rock screen, which makes a catfish check fairly quick. And it's also interesting he saved and quit there. Not a bad idea. Now that he has some some weapons, a Moldorm defeating item, he can dive Tower of Hera. Meanwhile, prdwong found the Book of Medora in the back of Escape. Found a key as well, so he's going to check the sewer chest. Now Eri approaches Moldorm with sort of an no major glitches speedrun technique here. He's got the fighter sword, he's got the boots. And he dispatches Moldorm very professionally. No surprise, as Eri has a top score on the... he has an hour and 26-minute NMG time. Respectable in itself. He also has a top 10 all dungeons time. All dungeons is a very closely related category. If we consider the vanilla game, all dungeons are required in this speedrun, and you are allowed to use overworld glitches like these. All dungeons also allows underworld glitches, but there aren't too many. So we'll be seeing a lot of tricks in this randomizer that have been adapted from the all dungeon speedrun. We have a bit of sync again, as both of our racers find Quake and the silver arrows in Mini Moldorm Cave. So prdwong, he just beat Armos Knights very quickly with the bow and normal wooden arrows, but it still looks very early, so silver arrows will shorten his times for other boss fights for sure. Eri is opening... Okay, Eri opened the it's sort of a rupee farming cave. I thought he was going to go in. Now both runners are setting up a water walk state by dashing along the edge of the ice rod cave, and then as they jump into the water, they are suddenly walking on water. This is a glitch that we see in the no glitches logic, because it is considered a minor glitch and it is allowed. Glitches like these, minor glitches, are required by logic. And actually, there is it is called overworld glitches, but there is an sort of a dungeon minor glitch that may be required, which is Dungeon Bunny Revival, I believe it's called, or something along those lines. It's not required in this seed because it's only required if Moon Pearl is not available. So we won't see a dungeon glitch like that. Anyway, I should mention Eri just found the mirror at the hobo under the bridge, which is very significant, a very helpful item to help perform glitches. Meanwhile, prdwong's screen may look a bit crazy. It's got a tile set that's a bit messed up looking, but he performed a Death Mountain ascent from near the area near Zora's domain. So we call that the Zora DMA. And it requires a bunch of inputs uh, and sort of memorization of where Link is on the map without him without a correct camera. So prdwong was able to memorize and perform that glitch to get him up to Death Mountain. It appears that both gloves are available in this seed in the light world. You never know where these gloves will show up. They could both be in Dark World dungeons, or they could just be hanging out in the light world. I miss where prdwong found his glove. He's about to pick up Titan's mitts. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, actually. Nope, there it is. Sorry, I was doubting myself until he picked it up in the final chest. So I'm just thinking about these Titan's mitts now. I'm wondering what that will indicate. It could mean that an Ice Palace dip is required. It could mean that the Smiths or the Purple Chest hold progression. Right. Seeing Titan's mitts at 21 minutes is extremely concerning. Sometimes we don't see Titan's mitts at all. Logically, Titan's mitts are required for Ice Palace, but there is a glitch called a mirror wrap that allows you to sort of teleport into the Ice Palace area. And this is a sequence break in this logic. So oftentimes, racers will explore Ice Palace without having Titan's mitts and complete the seed without them. Ares been cleaning up the North Dark World and is now exploring Pendant Thieves Town. Thieves Town has 4 free items, and there's certainly nothing wrong with exploring it. Racers have different philosophies on how they will approach dungeons in this mode. Meanwhile, prdwong performs the Death Mountain descent. Eri finds the Cane of Samaria in Thieves Town, and he's happy with the front 4 check. So he's found progression in Pendant Thieves Town, which is outstanding. Back to the sort of philosophy of routing. Personally, I would avoid pendant dungeons, but the front 4 of Thieves Town is certainly, you can't judge that. As always, we can't tell who's ahead, but to sort of summarize what progression each racer has found, Eri has found the mirror under the bridge and the cane in Pendant Thieves Town. prdwong, who, by the way, he just performed a DMD rather, a Death Mountain Descent that can be quite tricky. He just got to the graveyard cave. Doesn't have anything, but it's a useful check. And with the Titan's Mitts, he can easily check King's Tomb, of course. Anyway, I was talking about item advantages. prdwong has the bow in Aegina's cave. I expect Eri to go that direction, but we'll see. Coming out of Village of Outcasts, I might choose to go to Misery Mire next. We will see. Zelnus is in chat is right. These two are both really good. This is game 3 to decide their match. prdwong is a racer who I've seen play glitched and no logic randomizer seeds, which, of course, no logic means items can be literally anywhere. There are no restrictions on where they might be placed. There's no guarantee that the seed is even completable. But this game has so many opportunities for glitching. It can be quite amazing. Excuse me. Question in chat, is there a list of allowed overworld glitches? There is a list of required glitches that you can find in the resources channel of the Link to the Past Randomizer Discord. There's also a description in the game options on the ALTTPR.com website. And as far as which overworld glitches are allowed, essentially all of them are allowed. Any glitch possible in the overworld is allowed. The only thing that's not ever allowed in randomizer races is exploration glitch. That's the glitch where Link is on the wrong layer and can travel anywhere. Meanwhile, Eri finds a third sword. His tempered is the Desert Torch. I can't recall where his level 2 sword was. Oh, chat is filling me in that there was a sword in Hype Cave, and I totally missed that. I missed the Hype cave ratings if there were any. I'd give it a 10. 10 out of 10. Hype Cave is fired if they don't get a 10 out of 10. Alright, we just saw a new Death Mountain descent from prdwong. It was a super, sort of a quadruple screen jump recently posted by Tajso. It is a very, very fast way to South Dark World from Death Mountain. Alright, prdwong is in Hype Cave. He gets his tempered sword there. And with Tempered Sword, Eri defeats Landmolas and earns his second crystal. Looks like that ties up the crystal count. This routing is good for Eri since it's his first time in the Desert Palace area. And Meyer as well, of course. And he finds Ether in the Meyer hut. We need to know what the Meyer medallion is. Oh, he knows he can get in with Quake. So Meyer is not blocked for our racers since Quake was in Mini Moldorm Cave. Eri immediately diving into Meyer. This is great for him since he has a fire source and Cane of Samaria. I'm looking forward to seeing how much prdwong searches in the Village of Outcasts, because we know the Cane is in Thieves Town. Digging game required a lot of digs today. I didn't notice that. So, prdwong is taking the two clips north to get into the Village of Outcasts from the south. This is something that is very helpful when you do not have Titansmiths. But he has Titansmiths, but I think it's faster to get to the bombable hut that way. He doesn't have to snake around the east side. Eri's clearing out Misery Mire. He chooses to avoid the cutscene chest for now. And prdwong is going into Thieves Town. This is good news for him, because he'll find the Cane here. Yes, are boots free? The answer is yes. Link begins equipped with the boots. A very important fact and difference from other logics. Boots are so important for Overworld Glitched. There's not much you can do without them. Without boots, you would have to do 1-frame clips. And that is not the most fun way to glitch out of bounds. There was a time in randomizer history where boots were not free. And it was it could be sort of a normal seed that you have to sort of try to get through without major glitches. Alright, Eri just gives a little bit of a slash there for the bow. Just sort of an anecdote about the seed randomizers where you would start without boots. One example of this was when boots were in the Pyramid Fairy, and in the pyramid. And you can get into the pyramid in this mode with the mirror. So it's not a technique that's performed with the boots, but once you found the mirror, you could get into the pyramid. And then with the boots obtained from the pyramid, you could then glitch into Ganon's tower, and then get what you need for go mode. I remember playing this seed, and I wasn't even sure if getting into pyramid was in logic, so I put it off. I may have even put it off until I could get in there with Super Bomb. Actually, no. I'm remembering incorrectly. I definitely put it off until it was the last thing I could do, and I knew how to get in there with mirror, so I eventually did it. Eri does not have the mirror yet, so he can't perform a glitch like a mirror wrap. Oh wait, I'm sorry. prdwong doesn't have the mirror yet. But the mirror may be required to get into Pyramid Fairy. Or I'm not sure what else might be required with it since they have Pearl. But the mirror can let you do a lot of things. It can let you go on descend Death Mountain as a bunny, Link. So both runners are in the same rooms, with prdwong just slightly ahead going to Vitreous. I believe it's because he went directly to Vitreous, whereas Eri full cleared the dungeon. We'll probably see prdwong full clear as well. prdwong has silver arrows and is going for the silver shots only. Eri did an NMG strat. He did get a cycle of lightning in there, But the sword spins were fun to see. And quickly beat Vitreous. Let's see where he goes next. Meanwhile, prdwong will clear the rest of the dungeon. What we're seeing from Eri, and whenever they go, they sort of do this hop off of the south part of Death Mountain and then go into Tower of Hera. That resets the camera. But actually, Eri's decided not to reset the camera. He's going for the Pyramid Fairy at this time. What he's done is he's sort of wrapped Link off of the screen. And so when he sets a portal with his mirror, the mirror portal is not set where it looks like. It is actually set in front of the pyramid. So he's going to flute away, and we'll see his mirror sparkles conveniently in front of the pyramid. In fact, it will be inside the pyramid doorway, and he instantly walks in. He set the portal in such a way where he kind of gets stuck when he exits. We'll see if he gets out of here in 2 more screen transitions. And I believe he will. He's tapping up to push Link a little bit farther back, and there he goes. You can position the portal in a slightly different area, and he will sort of, you can get Link out of the pyramid in one transition. Meanwhile, the value is sitting on top of the pyramid, not inside of it. The fire rod is on pyramid ledge. So we have fire rod now. We have the ability to burn freezers. Logically, we have the ability to go into Ice Palace. We have no hammer. I'm still concerned. Could there be progression in Ice Palace? This is routing I'm fond of. What we're seeing from Eri is a pyramid check, you know, in the pyramid, on top of the pyramid, and then straight into escape. As far as I can tell, the mirror has not opened anything. It is required for Mimic Cave and Swamp Palace at this point. We don't know if Swamp Palace has anything in it. It has a pendant. But mirror certainly makes routing quicker for Eri here. We're seeing it used in much different ways, from the no glitches randomizer, but it's equally, if not more, useful for routing. Was that a shovel Eri found in Escape? Looks like he's going toward the grove. Meanwhile, prdwong is in Skullwoods. Unfortunately, he did not find the fire rod. So we'll see if this dungeon yields anything. Eri's now going to Eastern Palace and using hookshot sword climbs to get up to the entrance quickly. There is an Eastern Palace clip that I recently learned that allows you to get into the Eastern Palace entrance from the sort of the entrance of that screen. It's something that's considered in the all dungeon speedrun without the boots, but it is almost a meme since it is so difficult to pull off without the boots. That's right. Eri does not have the mitts yet, so he will probably find them soon. Question in chat, is item placement logic different from standard randomizer? Yes, indeed. Not only are overworld glitches allowed in these races, they are required. I would be very surprised if I were to see an overworld glitches randomizer seed where items are placed in sort of normal, restrictive ways. Eri is on his way to get his 4th crystal already. Meanwhile, prdwong looks like he's going to Checkerboard Cave. He didn't have the gloves when he was here earlier. He was in Misery Mire earlier. He may have forgotten to check that. Let's see where he goes next. He's going south. Oh, he's got the book. He's got to check Bombo's tablet. Eri quickly beats Armos Knights with the silver arrows. prdwong, where's his next move, I wonder? He clipped over to the Cave 45 area so he can continue north. Oh, he needs to beat Landmola's. There they are. There are the myths for Eri. So he has Cane and he has Fire Rod. This presents a number of locations Eri might want to go to. He's going to Skull Woods. That makes a lot of sense to me. He can full clear the dungeon. I'm wondering, however, Ganon's Tower is now open, the right side of Ganon's Tower. And that will be 9 or 10 items. So the progression could be in Ganon's Tower at this point, or it could be Turtle Rock. It looks like our tracker marked the Bombos medallion for Turtle Rock. The medallion doesn't matter. If our runners want to search Turtle Rock, they'll search it. So they can clip into Turtle Rock from, its 3 other entrances. Eri's continuing into the back of Skull Woods. We'll see if Mothula hides progression. This looks like it may be his 5th crystal. As far as I can tell, it's Hammer Go mode for Eri. If I'm not mistaken. He needs to find the hammer to get to Helmasaur King, to get to Cold Stare. Those will be his last 2 crystals. Hammer also opens left side of Ganon's Tower. But for Eri, he's not going to be looking for any items over there. He'll be looking for Big Key. So we'll see if this hammer is difficult to obtain. prdwong, good call on going to Hobo. He finds the mirror. This may lead him to Pyramid Fairy. I'm not quite sure if we will see. Again, the mirror opens up Swamp Palace, but it's locked because no flippers are available. It opens up Mimic Cave, but it's locked because no hammer is available. So the mirror, as far as I can tell, doesn't help prdwong in terms of progression. I feel that it's too little too late for mirror to be helpful at this point. We'll see. Maybe he'll put it to use in surprising ways. Oh, did we see prdwong put the portal in a different way? Yes, we did. He put the portal in such a way that was about a tile or so lower. Maybe 2 tiles lower. So now in prdwong, he had to hold a bush so he could get into the middle of the portal and face up. But you see, he just left the pyramid in 1 screen transition. He didn't get stuck 2 times. And this is good. This has led him to the Fire Rod on the pyramid. Question in chat, is hammerless possible? I'm not positive. I think it is. I could be wrong. In this logic, hammer does not block Turtle Rock. So that's another dungeon that you can clear. So let's think about which bosses require hammer. I think it's just 3, right? Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, and Palace of Darkness. So if those three are pendants, then it could be a hammerless seed, potentially. Right, we'll see where the big key in Ganon's Tower is this seed. I'm a bit surprised that our racers haven't gone to GT yet. prdwong might be on the way, though. Eri might be on the way, though. They're both in sync, setting up. That was amazing. They both set up the Ganon's Tower clip simultaneously. And they're checking different rooms. But they will both be checking right side. Eri finds the big key. He's leaving right side. Because he needs to check left side first. He's going to grab a key from left side before returning. I'll be surprised if he goes upstairs, but it looks like he's going back to the right side, yes. And prdwong is on his way to the right side as well. He's doing tile room first. Makes sense to me. Eri is skipping tile room. This is a good play, I'd say. It's common for our runners to check tile room right away, because when you're looking for items, it's just another location that can have items. In this case, it's just a piece of heart. Eri may be looking for only one more item now, the hammer. So he's got 4 chances to find it in this next room, so he's skipping tile room for now. He might even just skip it entirely. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Eri finds the powder. Powder gives you immediate access to the bat cave in this mode. They do have mirror, so they could get in there just like in a no glitch logic. But a bat clip may be required as well in some randomizer seeds. So they have big key, they have ice armos, they have big chest, they have the top of Ganon's Tower. I'm starting to suspect that the hammer is in the GT climb. I'm not sure though. There can certainly be progression at the top of Ganon's Tower. Glenn is correcting me in chat. Because of key logic, hammer cannot be upstairs. I'm not familiar enough with the GT climb key logic. I've heard that 3 keys are required for progression there. Eri has 2 keys. So another question, is Aghanim 2 required? Yes, Aghanim 2 is required to make Ganon vulnerable. This was sort of implemented into Randomizer. Ganon cannot be defeated without earning all 7 crystals and beating Aghanim 2. If you're familiar with Entrance Randomizer, you may know different modes, different goals, where Ganon is vulnerable after earning all 7 crystals. In this mode, however, Aghanim 2 must be defeated. I think the randomizer history is a bit interesting myself. When Entrance Randomizer first randomized Ganon's Tower and made it able to be explored, when it first made Ganon available, it required Aghanim 2. And this sort of came as a surprise to no glitch runners and the Entrance Randomizer developers. But glitched modes of the randomizer established it first, that Aghanim 2 must be defeated. And in glitched logics, in the item randomizer, there's no 7 crystals only logic or goal. Aghanim 2 must always be defeated. In the vanilla game, however, as long as you can access Ganon, you can defeat him. So the goals are put in place in the randomizer only. Eri pulled off a sort of a bombing glitch where the wall doesn't look like it disappears, but it really does. Sort of a graphical flaw. Eri's the first to Aghanim 2. Moldorm 2 had the map to help us locate the boss. I didn't see any progression in the climb. I saw Bombos in Bob's chest. Most likely, Bombos is not required. It is possible that there may be some sort of key lock situation in Turtle Rock, but our runners won't run into that. They probably will not need Bombos to get in, assuming they need to go into Turtle Rock. We'll see. Eri does a nice bonk to get to where he wants to be before mirroring. Question in chat, does Overworld glitches still pre-fill Ganon's Tower with trash? No, it does not. There is no pre-fill at all. That gives those 22 chests, as we know, many opportunities. You know, any of those chests can have items, as well as the big chest. So it gives Ganon's Tower 27 chances to have progression. Alright, so Ares rescuing the smith. So we are finally putting our mitts to use, which were earned 45 minutes ago from Eri. I say 45 minutes ago, not to be critical, but at the beginning of the seed, I was concerned that mitts were found very early. And checking mitts block locations makes sense late game to me. These particular checks with both, it's surprising to see both racers do it. They're both going for the purple chest at this point. Interesting, similar routing at this point. So we saw both our runners explore Ganon's Tower without having 7 crystals. The number of crystals doesn't matter. There's no entrance barrier that they need to cross. What happens is they jump off of the screen in Dark Death Mountain, which sort of wraps them onto the stairwell at the top of the screen. And so they cross the barrier. They sort of jump around it. Even if you have 7 crystals, you can't activate the cutscene to open the tower from the way they jump around it. So what we typically see is if it's some sort of like normal order of dungeons where the runners get 7 crystals and then do Ganon's Tower, they'll probably clip in just because it's faster. There's no cutscene, there's no running around Death Mountain. Is Aghanim 1 ever needed in Overworld glitches? Yes, if there is an item at the Lumberjack Cave. Otherwise, no. Because there are always ways to glitch around the Dark World. Maybe with a Death Mountain descent to get to East Death Mountain. Or like we saw today with a sort of a mirror portal displacement. I forgot the name of this mirror portal glitch, but that gets them into East Dark World, and that's in logic. There are many logical ways to get all around the Dark World without beating Aghanim or getting flippers or hammer, which is what they're looking for Go mode. Chat is discussing Palace of Darkness as a potential for the hammer. Makes sense to me. That's where it is in the vanilla game. Neither of our racers have checked it. I'm not sure if that's more or less likely than Ice Palace at this point. I would be thinking Turtle Rock myself. That might be, you know, who knows? I don't make the best decisions. But it looks like prdwong might be on his way. There he goes. He's got hook speed. All he needs to do is hold down and right, and he clips into Turtle Rock. So prdwong has a chance to get 5 items here in Turtle Rock. Hammer could certainly be here. Aries going through the front. He's using Bombos medallion. I like this. There's no I don't think there's any wrong or right way to enter Turtle Rock. They could have even done a mirror wrap to enter Laser Bridge first. Eri finds flippers. All that is going to do is open the first chest of Swamp. That is all flippers could possibly do for us in this seed. Oh, I sort of missed what happened to prdwong. I thought he was exploring Turtle Rock. I missed his exit. But it may be that since he went through the middle, he may have been key locked. This is what I was saying earlier. Oh, and he wanted to go into the front of Turtle Rock, but he is in the light world, so he can't go that way. And then he did a nice descent into the Zora's Domain area, but he transitioned at the wrong location. Unfortunately, he got stuck. So this is very interesting that the Bombos medallion, maybe by logic, blocks this whole rest of Turtle Rock. And we'll see what's here. What prdwong may be trying to do now is he may realize, yes, he can get into the front of Turtle Rock. He just needs to clip to the top of it. He does not have the hammer. He's not going to go through the light world. He's going to go directly atop Turtle Rock. And then he'll cast Bombos to open the way forward. Eri is about to find out whether this is the answer, however. So far, just rupees and health, compasses and maps. And nothing. I'm not sure if Trinex has anything. I'm not sure if they found the map. I think Trinex holds something. I'm not sure though. So obviously the meanest possible thing would be if the flippers lead to the hammer. In that first chest of Swamp Palace. That's probably not it. There are still 2 dungeons left unexplored. It's probably going to be one of those two dungeons, Ice Palace or Palace of Darkness. Uh-oh. Aries doing it. He's going into Swamp Palace. What a play. When you find flippers in Turtle Rock, it holds a special significance. We'll see if that is red herring. One thing that's great about overworld glitches is there are still many sequence breaks that are possible. At this point, I don't know if there are any sequence breaks left. Nothing in Swamp Palace. That is not the answer. Aries going for some potions here. Interesting. prdwong makes his way to Zora and finds just the 10 arrows. That's 50 rupees per arrow. Aries going to Ice Palace. This is what I was worried about from the beginning of the seed. Could Hammer be here? I'm thinking yes. prdwong is thinking, what will be next for him? He's getting hook speed. He is jumping out. He could be going into Ganon's tower. He could be going back into the Dark World. Is he going to do a super jump? Maybe. He's doing the super jump once again. We're going to see him jump 4 times. And then again. Four times around the screen. This is the fastest way to this Swamp Palace area at this point. He is... Oh! Okay, so one thing to note about glitched modes and camera problems is that the racers often need to correct their camera. And they can do that by entering a multi-entrance cave or a dungeon. So when prdwong exits the dam, the camera is still messed up. But that's okay. He can still pull the dam just fine. And then he goes into Swamp Palace. And everything's fixed. So the camera will return to normal when he comes out of it. There he finds the big key of Ice Palace. We will see if this is the answer. It looks like prdwong may be on the same path. So, Ice Palace is a crystal dungeon. So they will need to complete it. It's a matter of just finding the hammer here. They also need to complete Palace of Darkness, and they need to find the big key in that dungeon. So it may be that Palace of Darkness was the higher percent chance for them to find the hammer. Or it may be that Mitts but before I can finish my sentence, Ice Palace is not the answer. Mitts led to nothing, it appears. Could Eri be on the way to Lumberjack Cave? I believe he skipped it earlier. And I didn't see prdwong check it myself. But it's just bombs. Where can the hammer be now, if it's not pod? I can't think of anything immediately. Oh, yes. Well, yes. Well, here we go. Eri is checking the back of Thieves Town. This could be the answer. The Cane of Samaria was in the front of Thieves Town. And they both left, which, yeah, makes sense to me. But I guess Thieves Town could still have hammer. It seems so unlikely. I am guessing both players feel behind at this point. Since they've both ignored Palace of Darkness. I'll have to ask them. Yeah, this sort of feeling of being behind must have occurred around the time where Turtle Rock came up empty. Oh, there it is. Wow. blind, held the hammer in his cell. That is something right there. So all Eri needs to do now is beat bosses. He still needs to find the big key in Palace of Darkness. Oh, wow. So, what a play. Eri ignored Pod altogether and double dipped Thieves Town to find the hammer. Will be interesting to see what prdwong does. Will he make the same decision and consider Pod sort of like what my opponent did or something like that? I don't know what you call that in sort of the game theory here. But we will see what prdwong decides. He's got the hookshot out. So it seems to me he's going to go to East Dark World? No, he's going into Hera. Meanwhile, Eri is exploring Palace of Darkness. He just needs to find the big key and beat the boss. I wonder if prdwong is going to Palace of Darkness via East Dark Death Mountain. Oh wow. prdwong wrapped around the screen here in Turtle Rock. Wow. The screen wrap allowed him... Could this be the entrance right here? Yeah. I've never seen this before. That's awesome. A really interesting route to get to the front of Pod for prdwong. What I thought he was doing was a DMD where he might auto walk to the catfish and then maybe clip south from there to get into Pod, but instead he sort of wrapped around the screen, which put his position one screen farther south, right in front of the Palace of Darkness. Unfortunately, he won't find Hammer here. But that was really incredible to see that screen wrap. I missed where the big key was for Eri, but he's on his way to Helmasaur King. Oh! Ice Rod is in Palace of Darkness. I missed that. Oh boy. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. If it were me, I'd go to Trinex. Because I don't know. I don't think it would take that long for him to do Trinex if he chooses to do it. Well, we will see him probably do the Turtle Rock mirror wrap, which will give him quick access to Laser Bridge and Trinex. But we'll see. And down goes Helmosaur King. Eri just needs to be Cold Stare, and that will be it. He'll be off to Ganon after that. Question in chat, what is the normal way to pod without hammer and without flippers? I would sort of need to think about that for a minute. There is the Pyramid Fairy mirror portal that we saw both racers do. That would put them in East Dark World. There's also a Death Mountain descent. There are actually a bunch of Death Mountain descents. That would be in logic. We saw them attempt sort of a catfish DMD. There's also a sort of a Dark World potion shop DMD. There are a couple different ways to do that too. Another way is to use water walking, which is in logic. It's a minor glitch that may be required. For example, you can water walk to East Dark. The East Dark World. You can also require the water walk to get the Zora Ledge item. Oh, by the way, prdwong is setting up the mirror wrap, so he's going to use the mirror at this left side transition here. He just missed that first one. Oops, he missed it and got stuck into the transition. So the first time he was trying to hit Y and left on the same frame. The first time he tried it, he hit Y before left, and just mirrored like normal. And the second try, he accidentally hit left before Y, and so that pushed him into the transition and into the rocks, and he wasn't able to get back. But if he were able, and he's going to do it again, if he gets this input right, it will start to create a mess for Link. And what's going to happen is he's going to scroll way to the right and get into Laser Bridge. But prdwong is not going with that method. He's just going to go through the dark maze and get to Trinex. Meanwhile, Eri let Cold Stare get a bit out of hand coming out of the ice. But it's not a problem, it's just it took a slightly longer. And Eri gets his last crystal. So at an hour and 35 minutes in, he's on his way to Ganon. So prdwong found the ice rod in Palace of Darkness while he was looking for the hammer. He's already cleared Turtle Rock except for Trinex. And now he's thinking hammer may be at Trinex. Unfortunately, it is not. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. prdwong did not clear Turtle Rock earlier, so he's actually doing Laser Bridge now. I forgot he was sort of locked out earlier. Yeah, it totally makes sense coming here before Thieves Town at this point. I'll have to ask him about what happened in Turtle Rock beforehand, earlier. Eri's now in the Ganon fight and gets the cheese facts. He got the Trident spin, which gave him all 12 hits. Not hits exactly, but he got the 1-in-1 cycle on Ganon. And enters phase 3. Eri gets a single, a double, and another single with silver arrows on Ganon. GG's to Eriror for defeating Ganon. Meanwhile, prdwong cleaning up Trinex, and we'll see what it holds. ₹50. And green pendant, of course. I forgot about that part. So we'll probably see a Sajala check next from prdwong. So congratulations to Eri for winning Game 3. I believe this means he will move on to face Gem.
Not looking forward to that. I mean, kind of looking forward to that, but it's going to be scary.
I think I hear you. Sorry, I can just barely hear you. sorry. Again, Eri, welcome and congratulations. That hammer.
Yeah.
How did you decide on Thieves Town to finally find the hammer? What were you thinking at that moment?
Is my audio okay now, or is it still bad?
I'm sorry. I missed that. Could you say it one more time?
Yeah, I was wondering if my audio is okay, or if it's still so I can encounter myself in the restream. So.
Unfortunately, prdwong took the ice rod that he found in Palace of Darkness and went to clear the rest of Turtle Rock. It looks like it may be still a lumberjack check for him. Yeah. This is very interesting. Typically, I check lumberjack early, but it really doesn't seem to matter. I'm not sure when is the best time to check it, but anyhow, prdwong has narrowed down his options, and I believe he's going to Thieves Town.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Excellent. I found out what the difficulty was. I put my microphone on the other side of the room.
Oh, that's an issue.
Yeah. All right. But I'm here now.
Congratulations once again. What are your thoughts in general?
This was quite a seed. I mean, in hindsight, it really wasn't that bad, right? Everything was in a pretty reasonable location. But yeah, the seed also gave you a lot of stuff that could bait you into going to locations where there was nothing. And that was less excellent.
Right, I was already sweating after 22 minutes when you had the Titan's mitts. Actually, did you have Titan's mitts earlier, or was that prdwong, actually?
I think that was prdwong, yeah.
Yeah, because you went to the eastern area a bit later. But I'm pretty sure he had Titan's mitts at 21 something. And so I was concerned that Hammer would be an Ice Palace. So we saw you go into Swamp Palace and Ice. Is that because you felt behind after Turtle Rock, or how were you feeling around that time?
Yeah, so this series I was kind of metagaming a bit more than I was in the spring tournament, which maybe wasn't the smartest thing to do. But at this point, after I did Turtle Rock and I found the flippers, I thought, okay, maybe my opponent hasn't done this. So let's just go off the basis that I just need to make a play in order to get ahead again and go into Swamp. Going into Swamp, I think, was maybe reasonable. But going into Ice was definitely a mistake, I think, before doing other things like Feast Town and Pod. Because like if Ice Palace has nothing, you really did it for nothing, because you don't even gain a big key or something. Like if you go into Pod, you find a big key. So if you can go mode it later, it's not that bad. But Ice Palace, you have to do everything anyway. So that was kind of awkward.
Exactly. Meanwhile, at an hour and 45 minutes, prdwong casts Bombos upon finding Hammer. Probably a last location. So I'm still waiting to see if he'll complete the seed. But congrats again.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you asked me about my next opponent, right?
Right. So that's Gem, right?
Yeah. That's going to be quite difficult, because Gem is really, really, really good. He puts a lot of time into like rando and different modes, and I know he does overall glitch stuff. I think he has a all dungeons time in the vanilla game.
Yes,
so
exactly.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a lot of respect for him.
I'm sorry?
I have a lot of respect for him, so I hope I can make it a great match, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a wash.
Yeah. It'll be great. Yeah, you're both on the board. You have a number 10 time in all dungeons, I noticed.
Yeah.
The only 117 on the board, I believe, between the other times. But yeah, it's Randomizer. We don't know what'll happen.
Yeah, I might be able to beat him on pure execution alone, like based on my all dungeons and MG time, but just he has so much knowledge and just such a good feeling for the logic in different modes in Randomizer that I feel that I'm just really behind on that sense. So Gem is just so good in that aspect of the game.
Right, I'm with you there. Alright, well, it's good to see prdwong finishing the seed. Meanwhile, your collection rate is a nice 161.
That's not as high as yesterday, at least.
Yeah, it's definitely not as high as it could be if you're searching for something like a Meyer Medallion or an Ice Rod Go mode. Hammer blocks a little bit, not as much as in the no glitches logic, but yeah, so it was still pretty hard to find that hammer.
Yeah, in a way, hammer doesn't block that much, but it also makes a lot of dips really awkward, like Swamp and Ice Palace and Palace of Darkness. So without the hammer, you never feel really good going into some dungeons.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there are different methods of dipping like a pendant thieves town. Some, like me, I might skip it entirely. Some might only dip it if they just want to try to full clear it. So it was good that both of you dipped it to find Kane and just got Misery Mire out of the way. And for you, it was better since you hadn't dipped Desert yet. So that was a nice route there.
Yeah, I was really happy about my early riding. I really thought it would go a lot worse because it's pretty early in the morning and I woke up a couple of hours ago. So I was like, oh god, I hope the routing won't be too complicated, that I can just have a nice straightforward seat to wake up. Yeah. I mean, the beginning was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, only Mystery Mario was a little bit awkward, right? Because I didn't have the bow yet. At some point, it was like 2.5 hearts going, like, thinking of going to Vitreous. Like, okay, let's not do this. Let's just do the surrounding area first. And then I found the bow, and I was like, oh, well, I guess we're going back in.
Oh, I see. Right. That's interesting.
And it kind of worked out, because I left the portal to the Dark World in the desert area, so I could just clip back to desert and then go back into Mishramar, because otherwise I would have had a harder time, because I didn't have an easy Dark World access yet without the hammer and mitts.
Exactly. And you performed sword spins on Vitreous, but you had silver arrows, didn't you?
Yeah. See, it's kind of embarrassing because I didn't get a zero cycle video. But the idea is that silver arrows cause more lag, and I wanted to just save that time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so you could have actually saved time with the zero cycle.
Yeah, but I lost 2 seconds instead. So,
yeah.
Not that great. But, I mean, I think it's worth just going for it if you have tempered or butter sword.
That makes sense. It's interesting to see what sort of clips are performed, and without hammer, Dark World access was difficult, like you mentioned. What we saw from prdwong was the new super Death Mountain Descent super jump. Have you seen this? This is the sort of jump where Link wraps around the screen 4 times, twice.
You mean on the west side of Death Mountain to go to Swamp Mire area?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen Verlaine try to teach me, but I haven't really tried it myself yet, so I didn't dare go for it. But that's a really nice way to get to the southern end of the world, yeah. Right.
It seems that it's the fastest way to Swamp Palace without hammer and glove. Yeah, I recommend practicing. It's not hard to learn the lineups and everything.
Yeah, I didn't want to just do it on the fly, but I'm just gonna try it out a few times and then.
Absolutely, yeah, because you don't want to like hard lock, and it is easy to hard lock if you like dash along the bottom of the map, because you could just get stuck at the bottom edge of the map.
Yeah. That's kind of the case with glitches.
I would, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I would definitely check that out.
Yeah, like especially the first few seeds, I saw it like myself more often than not. Now it's like once or twice a seed, but it still feels really bad.
Right.
I had one at the beginning of the seed, I think, where I went to East Dartmouth Mountain, and I hopped off the ledge and like, I don't know.
Oh, that was really
weird screen scrolls. It was really awkward.
Yes, I feel like I've seen that before. I'm not sure if I've seen it on that screen, but it was like Link jumped in such a way that it didn't look like he screen wrapped, but he really did. I don't know.
Yeah,
Did that have to do with your jump directly after jumping off of the land bridge? Or when was that?
Yeah, I think that was it, because you go over that huge land bridge between the 2 screens, and then I walked north and like hopped. It looked like I hopped into the other ledge or something. It was kind of weird.
Right.
I'm not really sure how it works, because like the technicalities of glitches, I don't really know.
Oh no, exactly. But were you intending to hop toward the Hookshot Cave area?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, that'll be interesting to sort of rewatch and see exactly what pixels you were at when that happened.
Yeah, I was just a bit off, and then I wasted a minute. So yeah, that was not the best start, but otherwise Overworld is just so much fun. It's just a lot of wacky stuff. And
yeah, for sure.
Different logic.
Yeah, it was interesting. My very first comment here was that we would see wildly different routes. And there was some divergence for a while, but there was also a lot of sync right at the beginning and toward the middle. You both were going into Swamp after. You both went into Turtle Rock and then Swamp and then Ice Palace. So that was quite interesting to see. Dungeon dives are, of course, a bit different than clearing the overworld.
Yeah. I feel that most of the time there's just different approaches to routing, but you always go to like high density locations.
Yes.
And I think in between is mostly what differs, what your priorities are. But otherwise, yeah.
Exactly. Meanwhile, prdwong is wrapping up Ganon. He's got him frozen. He's got a double and another single, and he's got one more arrow shot to go. All right, GG's to prdwong. It was quite a ride for him to find that hammer and what seemed like the last location. I'll have to double check.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I thought that I had it on nearly the last location. I only had pot left. But if you find the ice shot there as well, oh boy, you can get it really hard.
Exactly. Looks like prdwong is up for an interview. I can move him in. prdwong GG's. Can you hear me? Your mic is muted on Discord. Oh. Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. GG's, prdwong.
GG, Eriror.
GG, that was quite a seat to finish it off. I hoped it would be a bit quicker so you could get some sleep, but that hammer.
It was the kind of sea that give me a chance, I think, but Thieves Town trolls me again.
You never want to see Ben and Thieves Town, honestly. It's the worst thing.
Yeah, and it totally made sense for you to leave Thieves Town after finding that cane early. You both made that play and then went to Meyer. Were you worried that it would be Thieves Town, or were you still thinking you had higher chances to find it in Pod or Turtle Rock?
I was worried not that long afterwards. Like, I think I finished Meyer and some of the Overworld checks in that area, and then I realized I was running out of places except for these dungeons that were really unappealing, right? Turtle Rock, Pod, and, well, I couldn't even get into Swamp at the time. And I was like, if it's in Thieves Town, you know, I probably should have continued on with just the one item. But then as kind of, I went to some other places, and then as time kept going on, I was like, well, if it's in Thieves Town, I think I've just pretty much lost. So I just kind of put that location aside and then just tried to follow everything else. Right.
That makes sense. And I thought I was following your play toward Turtle Rock, your double dip into Turtle Rock after finding Ice Rod. That made total sense to me. I actually forgot that you hadn't cleared it though.
Yeah, I was really upset with how Turtle Rock turned out. Like, I wasn't thinking about the logic very well, and I had to go back so many times, so I got really frustrated. That's kind of that's kind of the reason why I went down to Swamp and Ice, even though they were really bad plays, I feel like.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, I feel so behind now. Like, I got to make some sort of gamble, and like swamp and ice seemed like okay, if it's here, then I had a chance to get back into it.
Yeah, we had the exact same idea there.
But can you sort of enlighten me on what happened in your initial dip into Turtle Rock that made you leave? I sort of missed what it was. Were you key locked?
Yeah, so my initial dip, I went into the middle.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, I have the pendants. I am key locked.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned out that I was key locked. So then I came back out, and then I tried to get in the front, but I didn't have the hammer to get to the front. And I was like, ugh. And then so I came back in the front, and then I don't even remember what happened at that point. But I was all flustered by that point.
Exactly. Yeah, and it makes sense to try something else. But yeah, if I were in your shoes, and I probably, I would. I don't know. Eri went in straight from the front, which I thought was a good idea. He could have been key locked.
Can I interrupt? Sorry.
Sure.
I actually went into the middle as well. And then
I'm sorry.
I found the bottle, I think, or a piece of heart, and then something else in Chomps. Then I mirrored out. Then I did the same thing as prdwong.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I immediately went into the dark world, then clipped in and used bombos to open it.
Right. So did you wait? How did you exit? Did you mirror clip out of the ledge, or what did you do?
I mirrored out.
Did you return
to the
later?
middle, and then went to the spiral cave. To the left, and then I mirrored there, hopped down, and then went into the bottom portal, and went through Super Bunny Cave to go back to the top, and then clipped into the.
Right.
Yeah, right, that's what I should have done, except I wasn't thinking, and so I made my way through Hookshot Cave up to the top. I made my way through Paradox Cave. Yeah, and then I was really stuck. Then I was like, oh.
Right, and of course you have to go. It would be kind of interesting if you didn't have mitts, Eri, because then you might want to like mirror clip off of the Turtle Rock ledge, and then go back into Super Bunny Cave all the way back up, and then use bombos.
Right.
No, but we didn't have Oh yeah.
So what you could do, you could go straight to the Turtle Rock screen and then clip onto the top of it.
Right. Yeah. My idea was that I would probably just save and quit, and then went from West Death Mountain, just hopped over there.
And personally, I was thinking a mirror wrap might be an interesting way to clear it. But then getting the big chest is tricky.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have the big key, because that's in the front.
Exactly.
But yeah, I had the same thing. Once I found flippers in Turtle Rock, I was like, okay, maybe prdwong didn't actually get that, and I'll just go into Swamp and just hope that it's there. Because at that point you just feel behind, because there's so much that you've done that didn't end up giving anything. And yeah, I think the Ice Palace play maybe was kind of a mistake. Like I explained before, that you don't really gain anything if it doesn't have anything.
Exactly.
As soon as I got into Ice Palace, I was like, this is so bad. Swamp was like fine. It's just one check, and doing that super jump didn't take up much time. But then I was thinking, okay, Ice Palace is here. I might as well check it. But when I was going through it, I just felt so bad. I was like, there's so many more items in Pod. I should be in Pod. Like, one of the things that I was banking on through this series of games was that maybe Eri's gonna have more trouble getting to Pod without the hammer. I should have gone to Pod, and maybe I would have gotten there earlier if progression was there. Then
right.
That was better.
Yeah, I was considering going to Pod, but I thought that maybe you would have done it after finishing GT or something. So I was like, okay, well, Stupidly enough, I think the chance is bigger that you would have done pod rather than Thieves Town, so I'll just go to Thieves Town. But I only had pod and Thieves Town left at that point.
And by the way, it was interesting how Ganon's Tower had bombos to help clear Turtle Rock. And I don't think it had anything else, did it?
No, it had actual nothing.
Yeah. And by the way, prdwong performed something I thought was amazing, which was this sort of screen wrap DMD to get to the front of pod. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, from Turtle Rock. I like that one. Actually, when I was practicing it earlier, I was reminded that all the sprites despawn. And so you don't want to use it if you don't have the mirror.
I see.
Yeah, because you have to mirror into Eastern in order to get the sprites back. Or if pod's already open, then you're fine. Otherwise, you can't get Kiki. So earlier in the day, I was trying it. I was like, this is great. And then I got there and I was like, I can't get into pod. I better remember this.
Right. Wow. Okay. So when you were going to do that, and I knew that at that point, I guess, I think I knew that that wasn't the right answer for the seed, but I was kind of curious how you were making your way in that direction. I would have done the sort of auto walk to Catfish and then a clip south onto the pod screen. But your way seemed faster. I don't know. It was interesting for sure.
Yeah, it feels a lot faster.
Yeah, I think if I didn't have the flippers yet either, I would have just gone via Skullwoods, like just a water walk. But that doesn't even work. Oh, it does work. It does work. Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about a map wrap from Turtle Rock to Skullwoods?
No. Just go into the Dark World in Skullwoods and then like dash over the pit and then activate the water walk and on the river.
Yeah,
in order,
I don't really know any other way.
Oh yeah, in order to get to East Dark World, yeah. So you could do the potion shop DMD, which is really touchy in my opinion, but it's possible. Or you could do sort of a DMD where you, it's in Josh's compilation, but I've never used it. It's this one where you sort of go south from Death Mountain, and you have to like jump into the water. And if you don't have flippers, you have to scroll the screen to the left and then jump to the right and get fake flippers. It's really crazy. And then you can swim around to the potion shop area. Anywho, prdwong, it looks like you won't be progressing in this tournament, but will you be playing more glitched randomizer, or what do you have next on the horizon?
I don't know. I'm just gonna do whatever seems interesting, which is fine. Whenever glitch comes up, like I'll give it a try. Like I mean, the no logic seeds seem pretty interesting so far. I mean, I'm still learning that stuff, so those are still challenging for me. But I think this portion of the bracket for the tournament was pretty difficult. It would have been nice if I was up against some of the other players. But that's how it happens. Eri's a really good player. I think the time he got was pretty good for considering what he probably went through. I mean, if either of us had gone through Thieves Town, I think this would have been another seed with like a crazy time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it probably would have been pretty close to the last seed, or like the first seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I mean, all three seeds were really interesting. Like, it feels like we kept being just one decision away from having a monster time, like every seed.
Yeah, I needed to have for the seed to put the hammer in like a really, really deep down, and then I probably could have pulled it off, but nope.
Right. Right.
Yeah, if it was on Green Pendant or Trinex, then I might have had an issue because I did Thieves Town before Pawn.
Right. And nothing was even behind Mitts, which prdwong, I think you had a 21-something minutes.
Yeah, and I followed that Mitts as well. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this Mitts has got to give me something, and nope.
But yeah, I had a really tough time this series, I must admit, because I mean I'm not that comfortable with overworld glitches yet. So sometimes I derp a little bit and all that stuff. So especially today, this morning, I felt really nervous because, yeah, he set up a really good time yesterday, and I rewatched, and I was like behind most of the time already. So I didn't feel that comfortable because, well, you're really good yourself as well. So don't sell yourself short. But yeah, I hope to see more of you the coming time.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
we better wrap it up. It's good to hear you both. I've been enjoying Glitched Randomizer. Thanks to our restreamer and our tracker. I've been Chex Human. Do you either of you have any final thoughts before we sign out?
Thanks for doing the commentary, and good luck to Eriror for the rest of the tournament.
Oh, thank you. GG's.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to the rest of the tourney. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. On Speed Gaming, we have Mega Man X coming up. We have a big day of Randomizer ahead with the finals of the spring tournament. And we have daily races, of course. And more Overworld Glitch Randomizer tournament as well. So keep watching. And thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.